Good morning, Mr. Lewis. This is Kayla.
Good morning, Kayla. All right, looks like it's trying to come in. Go ahead and minimize that. Got that. We're right on it. 11 o'clock. I'm going to mute everybody. Let me go to the full mute. All right. So we did have an assignment last week. For those who did the assignment, let's go ahead and get that done. Who would like to go first?
Mr. Lewis, can I go first?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just give me 1 second because my message on my phone, but it's on my laptop. And, 1 second. On my laptop. Okay, so we get off of this one.
Okay, so first, so I do have them mixed up a little bit
Okay.
because it's going to be backwards, so it's not in order. So first up, liquidity. What is liquidity? Liquidity is how easily something like a bank account, stocks, an IRA, or even real estate can be quickly turned into cash without losing value. For example, if you have a quarter of an acre of land that my great uncle left for me, I can sell that and turn that into cash quickly. And what liquidity means to me as right now is learning what types of vehicles is safe for me to park my assets into. And as you already know, real estate is my number one choice. Put that in every homework. What is IRA? An IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. It is a special type of saving account that helps people save money for retirement. The money put into an IRA grows over time, and there are tax benefits for keeping it there until retirement. For example, if someone puts money into an IRA when they're young, let's say about the age of 21, it can grow by a lot by the time they retire, which is usually around 65. But my grandfather is 70 and he's still going strong. Helping them have more money later in life. And last is, no, not last, but next is FDIC. The FDIC stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. It is an organization that protects people's money in the bank. If the bank fails or goes out of business, the FDIC makes sure people don't lose their money up to a certain amount. For example, if you have $1,000 in an FDIC insured bank account, the FDIC will protect that money even if something happens to the bank or you, the account holder was a victim of fraud. If the account holder was a victim of fraud. And on a side note, it is insured up to $250,000 per customer for the FDIC. And yeah, this is last but not least, CD. CD stands for Certif- Certificate of Deposit.
Yep.
It is a special savings account where you agree to leave your money in the bank for a set time, like a year, and the bank pays you extra interest for it. For example, if you put $500 into a year CD, you can take it out in a year, but at the end, you'll have more than $500 because of the interest the bank adds. And that's it.
Perfect job, sir. And they were all You had them in order. Thank you very much.
Mr. Lewis, could I go next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A CD, which is short for Certificate of Deposit, is a savings account that holds your money for a set amount of time and pays interest. You usually get a higher interest rate than a regular savings account, but can't withdraw the money early without a penalty. The FDIC, which is short for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, is a government agency that insures people's money in banks up to a certain amount, so they don't lose it if the bank fails. It helps keep people's money safe. An IRA, which is short for Individual Retirement Account, is a special savings account that helps people save money for retirement with tax benefits. You could put money in it up to $6,500 per year, which is also a tax deduction. It grows over time until you're ready to use it when you're older. Liquidity is how quickly and easily you could turn something like an asset into cash without losing its value. Cash is the most liquid, while things like houses are less liquid because they take time to sell. And that basically means how fast I could turn something I own, like digital money or valuable items, into cash without losing its value. And Mr. Lewis, based on my research of liquidity, what liquidity means to me is that I would like to invest in currencies, and so by the time that I turn 21, I could turn it into fast cash. Cash that, of course, if the cash system is still around.
Perfect. Awesome
Thank you.
job. Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, is it okay if I go?
Absolutely.
Okay. CD, which is Certificate of Deposit, it is a low-risk savings account that has the sole purpose of paying a fixed interest rate on a certain amount of money for a set period of time. This option is offered by banks and a plethora of credit unions, where you agree to keep your money in the CD for a specific amount of time, and if you withdraw, you have to pay a penalty fee. This is something that I would have personally considered under different circumstances, but due to what I've learned of the banks, I can't trust that they won't go to my money without my permission. But overall, I think this is a good way to build a steady habit of saving. An FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. It is a government-based agency that insures deposits and FDIC-insured banks and savings associations. You would use this by placing your funds in a deposit account at an FDIC-insured bank and make sure that your deposit doesn't exceed the insurance limit. These benefits include deposit insurance, financial institution supervision and resolution, receivership management, banking industry research, and economic and financial data. It doesn't insure things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, life insurance, savings bonds, or crypto assets. An IRA is an individual retirement account. It is a tax advantage savings account that helps people save enough money for retirement. They can be opened through a financial institution or an online brokerage. There can be multiple types of IRAs, such as traditional IRAs, which are tax-deductible contributions, but you can be taxed for early withdrawal. A Roth IRA are made with after-tax dollars, and withdrawals are tax-free if certain requirements are met. The rules are more flexible when it comes to withdrawals, and overall, there are fewer restrictions. An SEP RIA is very similar to a traditional IRA, but with higher contribution limits, and they offer tax-deferred growth on investments, and contributions are tax-deductible. And then a rollover IRA is something that is funded by rolling over funds from a previous employer, such as a 401k. Liquidity determines how quickly and easily an asset can be converted to cash without any loss of value. In a business context, liquidity can also refer to a company's capability to cover their bills and cover their unexpected expenses without having to look everywhere to borrow money. And this can be used with everyday life, such as the unexpected death of a loved one, or being prepared for upcoming bills for entertainment or different memberships, etc. It can overall be used as a tool to evaluate financial health and make smart decisions regarding your finances. And that's it for me.
Perfect job. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, Mr. Lewis. Can I go next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so starting with the FDIC, it is a Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, a U.S. government agency that provides deposit insurance to depositors in American commercial banks and savings institutions. So it is there for the regular person's protection of their funds. Liquidity refers to the ease in which an asset can be converted into cash without significantly affecting its price. In finance, it describes how quickly and efficiently an entity can meet its short-term obligations. A bank CD is a certificate of deposit. It is a savings product offered by banks and credit unions that provide a fixed interest rate over a specified term, typically ranging from a few months to several years. Then there is the IRA, an individual retirement account. It is a tax-advantaged account designed to help individuals save for retirement. There are many types of IRAs, such as a traditional one, a Roth IRA, and a simple IRA. The FDIC is supposed to have people feel some sense of security with their funds, having it in the bank. However, it does not always work that way. Things such as CDs and IRAs do not necessarily equivalent liquidity because some of the terms of those agreements mean that you have to leave it in there for a specific amount of time and you are not allowed to touch that money before that. And liquidity should be access to your money whenever you need it. So these two accounts don't necessarily mean liquidity. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Awesome job. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
May I go next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A CD is a certificate of deposit. It is a time deposit which has a fixed term of maturity, meaning it must be held for a certain amount of time before you can receive the full interest. When investors let the account grow for a long period of time, they will receive higher interest rates. The FDIC is independent of the U.S. government. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation protects the money of depositors in case of a bank failure. They help maintain confidence from depositors in the financial system. It is like an insurance company for banks, and they will insure up to $250,000 per bank. An IRA is an individual retirement account. This is another investment account to help save for money for one's retirement account. Opening one prepares for the future of those in old age. Liquidity is the converting of credit or valuable assets to cash without losing its value. In business, liquidity for a company is its ability to pay bills without borrowing money. It is also what you do when you want to empty your account for an emergency, and the government or IRS can also liquidate your account if you have unpaid taxes.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome job. Thank you, Kayla. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Can I go next?
Yes, sir.
All right, so a CD is a savings account where you leave money in the bank for like a set of time to earn more interest, and if you take it out too early, there's like a penalty. And an FDIC is a government group that protects your money in the bank, and if the bank goes out of business, FDIC makes sure you don't lose your money up to like a certain amount. And a liquidity is basically how fast and easy it is to turn something you own into cash. And last, an IRA is a special account to save money for retirement. You put money in it, it grows, and you can't get tax benefits, but you can't take it out until you're older. Yeah. So that's what I got.
Okay, perfect job. Thank you, sir. Is that everybody? I think that should be everybody. That's everybody, right? Okay. All right, my turn. And I wanted to take a turn this week because I knew you guys were going to do such an awesome job at looking at the basic information on it. Now I want to give you the real world, what they didn't show you, information on these 4 things. Now, before I do that, I want to say something to all of you, and this includes the adults on here. Education and knowledge is probably one of the strongest things you could ever do for yourself. And I say it like that because no matter where you go, what class you take, where you go to take a course, and by the way, this information on this call is by of opinion only. I am not licensed to give financial advice, but I do have an opinion on it and I share it. No matter where you go to learn something, always take the opportunity to learn something. A lot of people, when they get older, or even young adults, when they get 15, 16, I know. How can you if you've only been here for 15 years? So a lot of people forget or stop learning after you get the diploma from high school or from college. Don't let that be the end of your education. There are some adults on here right now that are learning something new for the first time, and they're 50, 60, 70 years old. They're hearing terminology and hearing definitions that you guys are giving that they didn't even know. I was told that. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, you are inspiring the adults because of the work you do with just the little things that I ask. And you inspire me as well. I just want you guys to know that, and it's not going unnoticed. It's not just a homework assignment. You're actually learning something that you're going to use later on. Trust what I'm telling you. So let's jump back a little bit. Last week, homework assignment was on the very opposites of these 4 things. These 4 things were the things that your parents, their parents were given and told that you have to do this, you have to do that, and this is how it's going to be, and that's it. Like it or don't have it, right? I want to pick out on a few things before I go into the comparison of these 4 things, and I want to see if you caught it, because it was said 4 or 5 different times. On a CD, there was a statement that said, when you put it in there, you can't touch it for a specific period of time. And then we'll give you some change at the end. But if you touch it, I'm going to take a lot of your money away from you. So you are reprimanded for using something that belonged to you to use, because money does not belong to you. Don't ever think that. You're only using it. You are penalized for using something that was given to you to use in the first place. Now, I want to make sure you understand what that means. The other side of that statement. Here's the other side of that statement. You're going to open a CD and they say it's for 12 months. Okay, Mr. Bank, I'm going to open that CD for $2,500, right? Okay, Mr. Lewis, great. We'll write it up. Clickety, clickety, click, pop, pop. Give me the $2,500. Thank you. We'll deposit this. Here's your receipt. Have a good day. What happens the second that CD is given a receipt to? The very second that that happens, that $2,500 now belongs to the bank as part of its bottom line. So now its worth just went up $2,500 more. And they do that times everybody that opens up a CD. Everybody, and some people open CDs for very large amounts of money. But the second you get the receipt, that money belongs to them. What do they do with it? At the end of the working day, they go into what's called bullet trades. They go into backdoor trades. They also go to platforms and trade. Liquidity, that first word. They create liquidity on your deposit. I'll say that again so you can see it. I'm going to use some props. This hand is you creating a CD. This hand is the bank. All right, we got that so far? You create the CD, they tell you 12 months. When you get your receipt, it switches hands. For 12 months, you have nothing. What do you see in this hand? Nothing. Where's it at? Over here. They've already told you what you're going to make in 12 months, right? So in 12 months, this deposit that they now have taken charge of, they'll put a deposit of interest back to you, which I'm going to get a smaller piece of paper. This represents the interest. Notice how it's much smaller than the actual deposit, because that's how it works. So at the point of the receipt, that interest automatically pops into your account, but they have the $2,500. You got the interest. You don't see it yet because they don't have to show it to you until the 12th month, right? So literally, you have nothing. This is the game. This is the game that you now know. All of you did the research, you did the due diligence, you did an excellent job. But now you know the full truth as to what's going on. There's more. So in essence, you have nothing. They have the $2,500. They get to trade this for 12 months. They make money on it. They loan it out. They get it back times interest. They loan it over here, get it back double. If they do a trade on it, they'll trade, get all the percentage of that trade. They're steady making money. Every day, at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, that bank is trading your money somewhere. The same thing you're going to do, putting your money to work. Isn't that what we're teaching? Financial literacy? Making your money work for you? Right. So follow me. It gets better. They're continually doing this all over the place, every day. You're sitting here with an empty account, right? They're steady making money over and over and over again, right? Every day, they're making money on what you deposit. At the end of 12 months, they'll let this come up and they'll put it back just so you can see both. You'll see the $2,500, you'll see the interest that it made for 12 months, and they'll say, okay, you want to reinstate and do another 12 months? They'll call you in because they have to. At the end of the term, they have to either deposit it all back to you or take the 25 back. What's most people do? Roll it over, go ahead and, yeah, just go it again. I made $300. So you see $2,800. It'll break it down. The interest was $300, $2,500, right? You say yes, put it back. Again, the $300 will stay there because you earn that. The 25 goes where? Back over here to the bank. And what do? See how that works? That's a CD. Let's go up to FDIC. Now, FDIC isn't even a bank institution. It has nothing to do with bank. It's an insurance company. Using the word federal, but it's not a federal licensed company. It's a corporation. All they do is insurance. Now, it is $250,000 per account at each bank. So when you go in with $1 million, you're going to break that $1 million down to $250,000 in 5 accounts. I think it's 5 accounts, 4 or 5, whatever it is. You break it down, right? So each account is covered to $250,000. Each account has its own name and number. That's what separates it. That's what gives you insurance on $1 million without it being in one account, because you can't do that anyway. If something happens to the bank and they say, oh, well, Mr. Lewis, you have FDIC. Now here is the part that wasn't in that information that you read to me. Here's the part about the insurance. They have 99 years to return any losses. 99 years. You don't believe me? Look it up. So they have all this time to return something over 250. So they have to return the 250,000 because they insured that. But they can take up to 99 years to give it back. So what kind of insurance do you really have? The games are now being exposed on this call. And you, my young families, are more the wiser to the games that are being played by millions and 2 millions of people. You have people that are multimillionaires that don't know this information. They're so rich, they don't care. Okay? As long as they give them big yachts and expensive food and they think they're getting a bonus, when in actuality, they used somebody else's account and borrowed enough off of that or swindled and used enough off of that account to give you a free trip or, I don't know, an expensive watch, trinkets, toys, adult toys, not the other ones, but boats, rings, and jewelry toys. All right, so let's go to the next one. IRA, individual retirement account. Same thing. What did you hear over and over and over? You have to put it in our institution for 40 years. You didn't catch that part, did you? Retirement. That means whatever you put there is going to stay there until you retire. Those are their favorite accounts. They love those accounts. Why do they love them? Because they know that money is going to stay there and be added to every month, every week, every whatever. Whenever you get money, you're adding to it. So that number gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And they make more money and more money. Because remember, it is a deposit that goes to the bank. And they make money and make money and make money. They don't share any of the money that they're making off of these accounts daily, weekly, monthly, every year. They're making money off of your deposit. Remember, you have nothing. Because when you deposit it, you give it to the bank for them to do what they do with money. Catch this, please. It's very important that you listen to what I'm getting ready to say. You are handing over your wealth and financial foundation to an institution that cares nothing about you. But they make money every day, right? Every day. What are you making? Absolutely nothing. At the end of the year, the first year, they're going to give you a little interest, right? They still hold on to it. They don't have to put it back and show it to you. because that on an IRA, you put a certain amount and you're either adding to it and they will show you that. But at the end of the year, they only show you the interest. What you've made, what you've made, what you made this month, this month, this month. You see all these numbers. It looks great. It looks great. But you're only going to see 12 deposits or 12 interest payments or 12 this or 12 that for each year. If you put it in, let's say you graduate college at 21, 22, right? Jaden, how would you be when you graduate? 21, 20?
22, I think, actually.
Okay. All right. So let's say that you get, thank you. You get a great job. You will get a great job. And you have all this other stuff going for you, which is going to blow all of this foolishness. These 4 things that the bank is going to be blown out of the water. But let's just go traditionally and talk about what Jaden's going to do. Now, this is hypothetical, so this is not what she's going to do. This is for conversation only. So she graduates and she gets the job that she went to school for, settles in. She's good. She's 22, right? Retirement is 67, I believe. They keep moving it around. Somebody that's retired, what's the retirement? I should know because I'm getting ready to do it myself. But what's the retirement age? You can unmute, please.
65.
Is it still 65? I thought they moved it.
Full
Or is it
retirement
70?
is 67. It
So-
depends on your birth year.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So let's just go with the average between 65, 67 and call it 66, my favorite year. Yay. So Jaden's going to put in, I don't know, she gets a great job. She has Team Royal, a promise delivered. She can probably put away $100,000, right? I would break both of her legs if she did that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's say Jaden takes $100,000 and puts it on deposit as an IRA. Boop. What happened to that $100,000? The bank owns it now. Now the bank is going to take that $100,000 and what? Trade it, loan it, trade it, make money, right? What is Jaden getting? What does Jaden have? Nothing. At the end of the month or quarterly or how they're going to come with some crazy, extravagant way to say, we're going to show you what you're making. And it confuses most people because you really don't know what they're saying. And they do that on purpose to keep you confused, to make you think they know what they're talking about and showing you interest that's made on a quarterly basis where you're 100,000. Now you made 72,000. You made 2,400, 2,000 off of 100 grand. The best you can do is 2,000. That should be an alarm right there. But if you don't know, then you say, wow, I made 2,000. Great. Leave it there. Right? Leave it there. Right? Wrong. Again, same thing. If you put it over there, they're making all their money. You're making nothing. You get your little interest payment. If you pull out $50 out of that account, they penalize you thousands. Why do they do that? To make you leave it there. So they can continue what? Making the money off of your deposit. That's why I can't stand banks. It's so fraudulent, it's ridiculous. And I found that out way early. I think I was 16 when I got my first paycheck and I deposited. And then I couldn't use it because they had to wait 3 days before the check would clear. What do you mean, wait 3 days to, I guess you could tell, I'm a little older. They would give paychecks that were drawn off of a bank account, not payroll. It was drawn off of a bank account. So The bank said, okay, well, you're giving us a check from a company, but they wrote a check. We have to verify they have the money first before we can give it to you. Excuse me, I just worked 40 hours. I need my money so I can go do the things I need to do. You have to wait 3 days. Get out the bank. Next. And that's how I was treated. And it had nothing to do with race or color and anything like that. It had everything to do with a financial institution that could care less about you. You get a checkbook. Okay, that was a fiasco horror story. You now have to hold a ledger on a financial institution and your account and what they're doing with it and what you're doing with it. Excuse me, how do I keep a ledger clean if you're using the money and so am I? When you put down what you use and the balance, and you have a balance of this, and the bank says, oh, okay, well, since you use this service, we're going to charge you this $2.50. And because you went to the ATM 3 times, we're going to charge you that. And now those deductions go on your account, and you had only the deduction of the item you went to the store with. Failed system. I don't care. Some people are really good at it, but to me, that's garbage. You should not have to dual ledger a single account because they're keeping their ledger and you were supposed to keep yours in the back of the book, back of the checkbook. Foolishness. But what did you hear in all 3, the IRA, CD, not so much the FDIC, but IRA and CD? You have to put it and leave it. Because when you make a deposit, and I want you to understand something, any and every time you deposit into a bank, you are turning over the responsibility of those funds to the institution. I'll say that again because a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them that. When you make a deposit, I just showed you in the little scenario here, when you have your own money, check or whatever it is, and you make a deposit to the bank, who has it? The bank. Do you have it? No, you turned it over. They have it now. You get pushed out of the picture and they say, okay, well, Mr. Lewis just made a deposit of $300. Let's see, we're going to make him wait, 2 days, 3 days. In those 2 or 3 days, we're going to take that $300 and put it in trade. What? That's my paycheck, or that's my tax refund. I think they do 5 to 7 days on a tax refund because it's large. Anything over $1,000 are going to give you 3 to 5 business days before they clear it. 3 to 5 business days, they get to trade the full amount without interference of withdrawal. I'll say that again. When you make the deposit of that $2,500, you no longer have it. And you are told at the point of deposit, there will be a 3 to 5 business day wait for clearance of this check. They now have 3 to 5 business days to trade this amount without fear of you trying to withdraw anything, because they already told you got to wait 5 days, right? They get to use your money. The second you put it in there, it no longer belongs to you. When you put it in there, they tell you when and how you can use it. You don't believe me? Go to an ATM machine and try to withdraw $2,000 and see what that machine says. Oh, your account is only allowed, I think, 500. And you really got to talk to somebody for that anymore. But whatever the minimum or the maximum amount on an ATM withdrawal, is going to be when you stick the card in there and you say, "Give me $2,500 that's in my account." I put 4,000 in. I need 2,500. They're going to tell you can have $500 today. Come back tomorrow, get another 500. Come back the next day and get another 500. And carry that on until you have your $2,500, or come into the bank. You go into the bank, if they don't have it at that location, they're going to say, "Oh, well, Mr. Lewis, you're going to have to come back tomorrow. You're going to need to make an appointment to make that withdrawal." What the heck did you just say? I have $4,000 in this account, and I have to come back tomorrow to get 2,500 that I need today. That's them controlling your finances, pure and simple. But people put up with it because there's no alternative. They put up with it because they don't know any better. Now, last week, we had a conversation about 4 things. All right? 4 things. Those 4 things, I'm going to go back to my notes, because I want to do this right. Here's the difference between the 4 items that are available to you now, 2024. Diversified cash flow account. Same thing. We're talking about a bank that you're going to deposit money into. All right? The only difference is, here's the deposit. Boop. It goes over to the bank. It still has to go in there because that's where it's at. But I'm going to turn the paper sideways, which means this diversified account cannot be used, studied, or applied any other interference from the initial deposit. So if you deposit $2,500 in a diversified account, notice the paper sideways, and you come back tomorrow and say, "I need 2,000, you'll get 2,000 deposit. That's the way the bank is supposed to work. But because of regulations and the fraud of the bank, the way they're set up, the fractional, all that foolishness, it's like this. And when you deposit it, it belongs to them. Now, with a diversified account, you are in control of the account. You make deposits to it. You put that money to work. You can borrow against it, and it all stays the same in the bank. Next one, private bank account. Same thing. Your deposit, you're going to privately deposit. Listen to the words. Privately, that means you and the bank, nobody else. Privately deposit that same 100,000 that she's going to put in a private bank account. Notice it's sideways. When you see it sideways, that means it's your account. Even though it's in the account with the bank, you are in control of it. They can't teach people. Like if this is a $100,000 account, most tellers, when they take a job, they're used to, 1,000, whatever. They don't get to see these big accounts. Well, nobody can see this big account. Nobody. There's laws that protect the private account within the bank. Even the banker can't even look at it without your permission. Land banking. Here we go again. You're going to land bank. And you're going to take a portion of money. We're going to just pick on Jaden today. $100,000. You buy 2 acres in Tennessee. 2 acres are now on deposit. Watch this. Sideways. Why is it sideways? Because you own it. You purchased 2 acres, and now that wealth is in 2 certificates of ownership in the bank. They turn from a deposit of 100,000 into 2 certificates that you own outright. and are for sale through private banking. See how that works? So another company is going to have a private bank account. You'll have these 2 acres listed in your private bank account for sale for $100,000 each. You spent $100,000, paid $50,000 for each. You have them for sale in your private banking account for $100,000 each, $150,000 each, $200,000 each, whatever you want. Somebody comes along, some giant mogul country singer wants to buy the property to put a farm or whatever, and they see these 2 plots, $250,000 each. Yeah, go ahead, $500,000, no problem. Just get all 20 acres. Yours were right in the middle of that 20 acres, so they had to buy it. See how that works? 250 each, sold. Now it comes back to you. Comes back to you in value. What do you do with it? Go buy 2 more, 4 more, somewhere else. Notice what's happening. From you to you, from you to you. Double up, back to you, double up, back to you. Who's in between those transactions? Nobody. Did anybody say how much you could have or how much you could send over or how much interest you were getting? Your interest was you bought the property for, let me turn it around. You bought the property for $50,000 a piece. That's $100,000. They turn sideways because it's private. It's a private banking or land banking. It's private. They turn sideways at 50 each, but you want 250 each, and you put them for sale in your private bank account. Somebody comes along, buys them up. Now you get it back in cash. Notice there was no fees, no interest. You didn't hear me say none of that. You heard me say you get it back as a full deposit back to you because you sold 2 pieces. It's an investment, dividend. That's the payment. Dividend means what you get from those 2 sales, right? Now your income just quadrupled. Now you need to do something with it. You are putting your money to work. Silver and gold was the 4th one. Silver and gold is wealth backing. Now, there was a question last week. Well, how do you back yourself with silver and gold? Again, from you is going to be the initial deposit. But what you are depositing, you are purchasing. It's the same thing as a deposit, but you get something in return. You purchase, notice what it's doing, it's turning sideways. When anything turns sideways in a bank for you, it means it's yours. There's no fees involved. The bank is not involved in it other than being a financial institution to make everything legal. Okay? It's a transfer of funds where everybody can see it. It's not some backdoor deal. But because it turns sideways, that means the bank has nothing to do with it. Even though the bank won't even have anything to do with this because it's in your back office. Okay, so you're going to buy it and take deposit of the actual metals. Do not deposit metals, I'm going to do 2 hands because it's heavy, into a holding company and let them hold it. That concept to me is just, I don't want to insult anybody, so I'm not going to say that. But if you purchase precious metals, take receipt, that means bring them home, put it in a safe where you can watch it and you have ownership of it. If it's in someone's safe deposit, we've already talked about this deposit thing. If they're not doing what you're doing and they make a deposit. Let's say you make a deposit of that same 100,000 in 50 in silver and 50 in gold, 50,000 of each, right? And you put it on deposit. Notice which way the paper is. You put it on deposit inside of some institution that says we hold precious metals. They sure do, and they have a bottom line. And what are they doing with the bottom line? Ding, 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 ding. They're making money on your money. That's business. That's just what they do. They make a bad choice somewhere, they lose some of that deposit. Hopefully they have a cushion between that loss and your silver or your gold. But if they don't, guess what? Oh, Mr. Lewis, we had a crucial incident and we had to liquidate, there we go, that word, liquidate 40% of our holdings. 40% of your holdings. And why are you talking to me? 10% of your holdings is now gone. That's when people do bad things, when you hear information like that. So I hope that was clear. I wanted to give you an understanding the difference between banking with traditional banking, with your wealth versus what happens when you do it yourself. Now, we've already talked about becoming a banker, right? Which will allow you to deposit. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Here's Jaden, 100,000. She wants it in XRP. Boop. Deposit it into device. Which way is the paper turning? Sideways. What does that mean? No one else is involved in her deposit. No law, no foolishness, no fees, no crooked people, no backwards ideology. It's just a plain 100,000 in XRP in her account. Now, Miss Jaden is also going to, I saw it yesterday. Here it is. I brought it down on purpose. Miss Jaden is going to invest in a crypto debit card, and she has 100,000 in her cold storage account, which is her bank. And Miss Jaden wants to go buy a large screen TV. The thing is $4,000. She's going to send out of her bank to her debit card $4,500, $4,500. Boop, it's there. Did she have to ask anybody? Did she have to make an appointment to put that amount on her card so she could use it? No. Did she have to jump through any special hoops to put the $4,500 on her card? Absolutely not. Now, because it came out of her account, which way is the paper? Sideways. That means you own it. You control it. No one else. No fees, no foolishness, no nothing. You own it. You control it. Like I said, you all are going to be bankers. Get used to it. Now, she can take that 45, push it onto her card, right? Now, does she, when she goes to Best Buy, does she have to say, oh, Mr. Teller, I'm using XRP to purchase this TV? Absolutely not. The young man or young lady's going to hit the beep, beep, and bring it up, and they're going to say $4,600. You're going to whip out your card. You're going to put it through the thing. It's going to go beep. The receipt's going to come out of the register. You're going to take that receipt and keep it. Keep all receipts when you start shopping with crypto, because you have to prove where this stuff came from. Trust what I'm telling you. They're not going to be happy when you become your own banker, so they're going to make it very difficult for you to do so and not be harassed. So keep all of your receipts. I don't care if it's a candy bar. If you use your crypto debit card to buy it, you keep those receipts. Keep every one of them. Take pictures of them. So because a receipt is ink that will dissipate over time. So once you get home after all purchases, lay out all your receipts, take a digital picture of each one of them and put them on deposit on your bank or on a jump drive. You can make a folder, and they even have a printer. It's a receipt printer. You just put the receipt in there, it'll scan it and put it in the folder. But keep all receipts. It's part of money management because you're going to have to do things like deductions and what have you. Now that you're a business owner, you get to write off stuff. So you have to have the receipts to do so. All right. So that's that. Being your own banker means you have to pay attention to your finances. It's all on you now. Some people like just putting it in the bank and I'll just use my card when I go to the store. Forget what they're charging me. Forget what's happening to my account. People taking money out of your account. They're this, that, and the other. You got to get a new debit card because somebody got your accounts compromised. You don't have to worry about none of that. None of that because your device belongs to you. This is your bank. Your card is yours. There's no people in between these two things because they work off of addresses, not ACH. ACH means that anyone can charge your account and pull money from it. There's none of that here. The only ACH that happens is when you take your card and put it up to the thing and it goes beep. It took the 4,000 or whatever the TV costs. It took it off. That's the only time that money will be seen. And by then it's too late for somebody to jump in and steal it because you've already paid a creditor for it. Now, what happens in their stuff, that's not your problem. You made a valid purchase. You take your TV and go home and enjoy it. But you have to become the banker. You have to become the credit card, debit card owner. Okay? You are responsible for the union of these things and the upkeep of both. In just a few short days, you're all going to become money managers, even as young as MJ, 11, 12. Money managers. And by the time you get 22, you will be very well off and very well educated on what to do with these funds. If you listen and if you come to the call. All right. I wanted to do those comparisons this week. I did that. Is there any questions?
Hello, Mr. Montalvo. This is Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi. I'm kind of new on this Kids Corner. I've been to a couple of them. I got a couple of information, and I want to bring my kids in. Is it still too late? And if there's a age limit somewhere along the line, I don't know.
No, they have to be young enough to be teachable or old enough. I think MJ is 12, so I would say 12 and up.
Okay.
Or if they're on it, young, the younger the better.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm actually 11.
11. Thank you, sir. So there you go. And he was 10 when so.
Okay, that's great. Okay, yeah, mine are young adults. So, yeah, 26 and 30. So is that still good?
Yeah. 30,
Okay.
I mean, 30. You're out there, but I'm not going to turn anyone away that wants to learn. All are welcome.
Is there a place that I need to go to get like the steps on how to, go through the process for the Kids Corner for them?
So basically, just be on the call. There is a schedule that you would need. I'll send it to you that you can just follow it. You got on this call, just continue that information, whatever information you used to get here. The information is not going to change. I turned it to infinite. So just use the same information. The call starts at 11, and they can go to my channel and get caught up on where we started, because they're all, most, if not all of them, are on the channel, which is my first and last name.
When you mean channel, you mean like what, like on YouTube?
Yes, ma'am. YouTube. When you get on YouTube, put in my first name, last name, and then subscribe to the channel. And then you'll see all of the other calls that I've done, Kids Corner, and all the other calls that I put on there.
The replay, so it would actually tell me like what to do, the process, like from start to finish.
Yeah, the process is real simple. Just show up.
I meant to say, like, do they need any wallets, things like that, like anything between emails and things
All
like that?
that.
What?
Yeah,
all
you'll
that?
see. They need a wallet. They need a cold storage, since they're basically adults. A bank account. Let's see. Of course, a cell phone, and that's it, really. Cell phone, smartphone. I got to say that right, because all cell phones aren't smart. Smartphone. Any wallet is their choice, and I have videos on there that go over the different wallets that are available. Same with the crypto debit cards, and then the last thing would be the cold storage. Their choice. Tangent is the easiest to set up, in my opinion, but they can have whatever cold storage they want.
Right, because I am part of the other APD TR with you as well. So how much is it for them to get in?
There's no fee. This is free. It's my gift to young people.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Montava, could I say something to you and your young adult?
Yes, ma'am.
I am so proud of those young adults. I'm so proud of you. Now I understand. You know what? They taught me something today. Now I knew what liquidity was, but I didn't know the way they explained it. They are excellent. I mean, I'm so proud of them. They are really great. And so anyway, as I said, I knew about the CD, I know the FDIC, but the liquidity, I wasn't really clear on that. But they explained it well. And thank to you because you've done a great job with them.
My pleasure.
I'm very pleased with it. But one thing I want to ask you one time, you remember a long time ago, you was teaching us, and they told you to cease and desist. You taught us how to become solvent. You was teaching us that. You remember years ago you was teaching us that, how to get authenticated. You said we are all cooperation. You were teaching all of that. And we don't want to be up under the government, we want to be up under sovereign, because we are sovereign people. Can you start teaching that again so we can you teach that now? I know they told you to cease and desist a long time.
They told me to stop. But as soon as we go into the Republic, announce Republic, then I'll kick it back on, because that's when all that'll come into play anyway. Because we're going to go back, we're going to leave one governing and into what we started out as.
Yeah, because you teach us great, and they told you cease and desist. They didn't want us to know all the information. They didn't want us to become sovereign, so they told you to stop. But if you could teach us again, because I would like to get my papers and things, so you'll have all that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I'm proud of you and the children. The young adults.
Yeah, they're children too. 11.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other?
Mr. Sorry to interrupt you, but going back to what you were saying earlier about always needing just going back to what you said earlier. So based on our research and everything you just explained, it seems like the government can rob its citizens legally.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You are correct. I'm glad you've seen it. That's exactly what they're doing. And there's a term that they use for us, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I'll just say this. You are considered chattel. Look that up, chattel. CHATTLE or EL. I think it's LE. Look that up. And that's just a single homework subject. Single. Because it's deep if you look in the right places. All right. Any other questions?
I just got one question. Look, what did I miss for the first 15 minutes of the meeting?
First 15 minutes of the meeting was the actual homework that was given for last week. Do you have yours? Liquidity.
Yeah, I got all four.
Right ahead.
All right. CD, certificate of deposit. A CD is a time deposit sold by banks, thrift institutions, and credit unions. FDIC, the Federal Deposit Corporation, is an independent agency of the United States government that insures deposits in FDIC insured banks. IRA, an individual retirement account, is a tax advantage savings plan that allows you to invest money for retirement. Liquidity is an asset that can be turned into cash without affecting market price.
Perfect. Perfect. And what I did was put the two, little sis got hers. Is she there?
Yeah, she's here with me. You got yours? Oh, yeah, right.
No?
Nope.
Okay. So basically, what I did was took last week's 4, which once you become a owner of Team Royal, you will have these 4 things at your disposal so you don't have to go this route. This route is the traditional banking where you maintain the chattel identity and do what they tell you to do. The last 4 last week are under your control, which when I was saying, when you make a deposit into your own banking institution, the deposit turns sideways. And that's just to represent that you own it, you control it. Okay? Someone's calling. You own it, you control it when it's sideways. And diversified cash flow account is in the bank, but you own that account. No one else can use it. No one else can see it. Private banking account, also sideways. It's in the bank, but they can't use it. They can't teach people with it. And it's basically for your use only. That's why it's called a private bank account. Land banking, same thing. You are going to make a purchase of property in your control privately. You're going to put them for sale in your private bank account to other private banking institutions, and they'll only see these 2 properties for how much you want for them. There's no realtor involved, none of it. It's a flat sale. You can have a real estate agent if you want to keep things clean, but for the most part, this is offered on a private banking list. Only private bankers can see stuff that's on that list. You will have 2 pieces of property for sale for however much it is. If they want it, they buy it. That money comes back to you, solid. You put it back in, buy 3 more pieces of property or whatever. But there's no one in between any transaction when it's private or when it's in your bank. Your device makes you a banker. At whatever age you are now a banker. So that means you will be doing the same thing. What I do with it, here it is. You'll be doing the same thing with your crypto debit card. You're going to put your finances and whatnot on your device, which makes you a banker, right? When you need to go buy something, you send it from the bank to your card. Nobody in between, just from the bank to your card. When you go to the store, You tap the thing, beep, it goes from your card to the company that you're buying it from. Nobody in between. Nobody. And if a certain individual that's running gets in there, there's supposedly not going to be any more sales tax and all these other tax. We'll have to wait and see if that is actually real. But that's less people in between your transactions. Less people. All right. So the whole idea, like I said at the very beginning of the call, you are going to become bank managers. Okay. So everybody is going to be a manager of some sort financially. And the reason why I'm doing this class is so that you don't have to go ask somebody to help you with your finances. You'll know what to do. I do recommend you confide in your parents and what have you, and people that are already doing it, so you don't make bad mistakes like putting in bad addresses, because everything is off an address when you're doing it digital. Okay, it's address. And we have to get into a habit of copy paste. Don't try to type those addresses. They're too long and you're going to mess up. And when you send it, it's gone forever. There is no, oh, let me call the bank and say I made a wrong deposit. No, not when it's crypto, not when it's digital. When you send it, it's gone. Okay, remember that. That's why you have to be very vigilant and understand early before you throw away $30,000 or $10,000 and say, oh, that was a mistake. If I had known, no, well, here it is. You know. All of your transactions should be copy and paste, or use the QR code, which all of you should know. But if you don't know, the QR code is that squiggly square or circle. You can scan it with the phone and the transaction happens instantly. Either that or the copy and paste. But don't ever, did I say ever, try to type it, because you're going to throw some money away somewhere. All right. I have to jump off. We got a really important call that started already. Any other questions? Not that yours not important. Any other questions?
Matao, some ladies, somebody say want to know what you were talking about. They want to know the spell. I think it's spelled CHATTLE, what you said, chatter, right? Yeah. CHATTLE. They want to know.
Yeah, that's the homework assignment. When you look it up, you'll see what it is.
Now, if somebody on here says she wants to know how to spell it, so I think it's CHATTLE. I think that's where you spell it, right?
That's how you spell it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And my top, that call you going to, would it be like, would it be zoom.thecreditteam.com?
Yeah, that's their thing. It should be in the link. There should be a link in the chat. That's a live call that they have on right now. All right. Any other questions? If not, I got to jump on that call.
Apologies, Mr. Lewis. I have two questions for you. First, would you mind giving the homework again, just so I can make sure I have everything?
Chattel, just that one word.
Okay. And then another question is, when do you think we would be able to discuss the different colors of the dollar, like the black on one side and then...
Yeah, that's all in that sovereign too. That information can get you in a lot of trouble because they want it hidden. But I would say after the election.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Depending on who wins also. All right, we all good?